This Peruvian-German research project was financed by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research in Germany. Bivalve aquaculture has become an important factor to support global fisheries in achieving sustainable levels for overexploited natural stocks. In particular, bottom culture is thought to be less impacting than other types of culture. Nevertheless, too high stocking densities may cause small-scale oxygen depletion and even bivalve mass mortalities. These can in turn have consequences for other organisms in the system. In addition, bivalves may impact their environment due to their filter feeding activities. They can clear large amounts of water, altering flows of organic matter and energy in their environment. Moreover, phytoplankton depletion removes the food source for other filter feeders and zooplankton in the system that may on the long run be outcompeted. The production of pseudofeces and changes in small-scale currents may cause organic enrichment and changes in sediment composition. The introduction of large scallop biomass quantities may change the benthic community structure by providing settling substrate for hard-bottom fauna in an initially soft-bottom habitat. The bivalves function in this context as ecosystem engineers, modifying their environment for other organisms, potentially changing biodiversity and ultimately ecosystem functioning. An excessive culture of bivalves may therefore have severe consequences for other organisms in the system, as well as on the ecosystem level. This is why the understanding of the biology of the cultured species, as well as already imposed changes by its culture, is crucial for the identification of long-term sustainable levels of production. The Peruvian bay scallop Agopecten purpuratus represents one of the most economically important cultivated mollusks along the South American Pacific coast. A major cultivation spot can be found in Sechura Bay in northern Peru, where the previously open-access fishery of this species was transformed into an aquaculture activity about 10 years ago. Here, the species is grown in bottom cultures, and the intensity and area extent of the cultivation activities have continuously increased over the last years. About 5,000 artisanal fishers and 20,000 additional personnel are currently involved in the scallop production chain, making the activity an important socio-economic factor for the entire region. This interdisciplinary study, SASCA, aimed at the determination of the bay's carrying capacity, which is the maximum amount of cultivated organisms that a system can support without causing unacceptable impacts on the system itself. Several ecological experiments were conducted in order to understand respiratory demands and optimum growth of scallops, as well as its impact on the benthic and infaunal community. Data from a socioeconomic survey were integrated for a value chain analysis, and the systemic impact as well as the estimation of carrying capacity was evaluated using a trophic modeling approach. In situ measurements of scallop oxygen consumption rates and water clearance rates were conducted. Both rates, standardized per gram of body weight, decreased with scallop individual sizes and increased with the temperature of the environment. The evaluation of the impact of bottom culture on the epibenthic community proposed culture to enhance biodiversity. Scallop predators, such as certain predatory gastropod species, contributed most to the similarities between non-culture and culture areas, having all increased in biomass for the latter case. The evaluation of the impact of culture on the infaunal community suggested the community in culture areas to be intermediately disturbed, while the control site was undisturbed. The community of culture area was best described by deposit feeders and species preferring fine sand, silt, and clay, whereas the control site was best described by motile and carnivore species favoring coarse sand. One of our studies focused on the value chain of the scallop production line in Sechura Bay, identifying all involved stakeholders. The highest percentage benefit was found for scallop producers, which are fishermen cooperatives. However, considering the number of involved persons in each production step, the highest overall economic benefit lays within the exporter group. A trophic modeling approach was used to simulate a further culture expansion in order to identify ecologically feasible levels for culture. The ecological carrying capacity was defined as the scallop biomass that does not yet cause any other functional group to fall below 10% of its original standing stock. A scenario was considered valid if all other functional groups stayed above this threshold. The summer season represents a potential bottleneck for scallop production due to decreased oxygen concentrations in the environment and increased scallop oxygen consumption rates due to increased temperatures. From the economic perspective, scallop culture is very profitable in Sejuda Bay due to comparatively low production costs. A further expansion may nevertheless cause a decrease in individual incomes and should be considered carefully, in order not to compromise livelihoods of the involved human population. The impact evaluation revealed that current culture levels do not yet exceed the base carrying capacity, but that a certain change was already induced on the community level. A further culture expansion should therefore be carefully monitored in order not to cause a further shift in the community structure and by that risk ecosystem functioning. The here presented project aims at contributing to the ongoing research on the estimation of carrying capacity for coastal systems through a holistic research approach. The results are expected to help guiding the governance of Sejuda Bay and may also be relevant for other coastal systems exposed to aquaculture. Thank you very much for your attention. For more information, please visit our webpage or come and find me for a personal discussion.